What's up, Warriors fans, and welcome to Warriors Latest. As always, I am your host, Max Arizin. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you enjoyed the show today, as I do post new Warriors videos daily. Now, at long last, the Jonathan Kuminga saga is over. He signed the 2-year deal for $48.5 million, and I gotta say, I don't fully understand why he didn't just take the initial 3-year deal just to have that extra money, knowing that there is the possibility of being traded. But at least now the saga is over, and after what was said on media day, it's like, all right, let's see if you could come in drama free and really have that career season that you've been talking about and you believe that you can have. Because if you have that career season, great. You're going to help the Warriors win a championship. That lineup is now full, and you fill that 3 spot, allowing Jimmy to really take over duties at the 2. Now that he's brought on, I'm kind of happy. I'm happy the whole drama is over. It's like Draymond says, negotiations are always going to be tough. And there's always going to be a lot of just grinding, biting, and just fighting to get that final deal done, because somebody wants to win the negotiations, and rarely do you see win-win for both sides. Now, in that contract, it is $48.5 million over 2 years. There is that team option at the end of next season, but there is also a 15% trade kicker that comes in should Kuminga be traded. And Kuminga can be traded on January 15th. I thought it would be the trade deadline, but January 15th is when he's allowed to be traded. So that does bring up a bunch of other questions and make you wonder what could possibly happen from now until January 15th. So a lot could happen between then. He could have an amazing start to the season. He could help them really just get off to a hot start to the point where, okay, we're not even thinking of trading him anymore. And you know what? This entire situation is just behind us. Now, should he become that integral part of the offense that the Warriors want him to be, then we'll see what happens. Because he's going to be part of that next generation Warriors team when Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy retire. So it remains to be seen, but end of the day, ball is in his court to perform and be drama free. And I'm curious to see if he could do it, because me personally, I gotta say, I like the idea of him coming back, but I'm not gonna lie, I wanted us to move on from him, not because he's a bad player, just because I wanted the depth. I look at this roster as it is, and we look at all the holes that have just been filled now that the Kuminga situation is over. D'Anthony Melton's coming in, Seth Curry is coming in, Al Horford is coming in, and I like how that rounds out the roster, but I want more depth with this team, because this is a team that has the talent to go far, but when you're going far, you can't ride your starters all the way into the finals. We saw what happened when the Knicks did that. Tom Thibodeau just ran his starters into the ground, and those are young guys. They could not handle that, and at the end of the day, it was just like, all right, what are we doing here? Why are we having a roster where there's only one 7-footer? And that's just one of the things that concerns me about this current roster. There's still more to be done, yet nothing's really happening. I don't know if maybe they make a move to get further under the hard cap on the second apron or even the first apron. I don't know if they make moves off of guys, they sign other guys to minimum deals. Maybe they don't bring in guys like D'Anthony Melton or before they finalize that deal. But I don't know. I'm not 100% certain with this roster. I feel that there could be extra additions coming as training camp moves on, but there's still little things that are just getting on my nerves, because I don't like the idea of going in when all your bases aren't covered. Now, even though they're not covered and the Kuminga situation didn't give us the depth that we wanted, there is the eventual trade. Now, we talk about guys who are disgruntled. Now, that trade kicker is a big factor in that contract that Kuminga got. And I really do like it, because it gives Kuminga his money and the opportunity to play with a different team while getting an extra 15% pay bump on that trade. So I do like that. And should Giannis become available, the entirety of Kuminga's contract is going to be tradable. Not like where it's you can only take back half the money. Now we can take the full money. And I believe that may include the trade kicker as well, but I'm not 100% certain. But a trade for Giannis seems a little bit more likely should things just go completely south off the bat in Milwaukee. So I do like that. Or even a trade where you can, all right, so let's see, he's making 22.5. I wonder if that contract, I didn't see the full details because they weren't available, but I wonder if that contract is front loaded. Now, if it's front loaded, we have something we could do with it, and you could trade for draft picks and depth. And if you're trading for draft picks and depth, all right, I could work with that. You get some big men, integrate them, show them the ropes, maybe even another forward who's a 3-and-D player, and you sort of add on from there. So I do like those ideas, especially when it comes to a good trade for the Warriors. But it's all dependent on somebody becoming available and somebody being disgruntled. And here's another question. Do you want a disgruntled player on a last dance type of roster? Yes, he is after a championship, but is he the right guy to help bring you the championship? Now, one of the players I do think about a lot when it comes to this last dance roster, and if things don't go well, is LeBron James. Now, LeBron for Jonathan Kuminga and maybe say Moody and I want to say Moody and Buddy Hield probably. Those contracts round out. That would be an interesting trade because you know what? LeBron's moving north for half a season. He becomes a free agent, and then we see what happens from there. And with Kuminga going to the Lakers, he gets a real opportunity to play with a guy who can distribute the ball to him in Luka Doncic. So, but again, that's a wait and see scenario, and I'm not sure that's going to happen. But I would like to see that if the Warriors can't get Giannis and things don't exactly go well for Jonathan Kuminga, and it's just no longer a fit because of him and Jimmy Butler. But bottom line, as I said before, this roster is completely rounded out, and there are still glaring holes on the roster. And from glaring holes, you look at the 3 spot. Yes, Kuminga is there, but with this roster, you need a guy who could shoot threes playing at the 3. And Kuminga isn't exactly the best three-point shooter. Now, he could change that this year and flip the script, become an amazing three-point shooter, shooting, let's say, 40% from 3. If that happens, boom, game over, Warriors got this. But until he proves that, I'm going to have concerns because behind him, they have some good players to back him up, but it's him and Jimmy playing in the wings moving forward. And I'm not entirely comfortable with that because both of those guys aren't three-point shooters, and you can't expect Steph to be the only one to take threes. You can't put Steph and Buddy Hield out there. Yes, you could put Steph and Seth there, but that creates a size disadvantage. You've got to shoot the ball like it's nobody's business with those two because they're snipers looking to hit their mark every single time. I mean, Seth hit for 45% last season, and that in and of itself was amazing. So I like that, but not only is that like the 3 a glaring hole, also the 5 is a glaring hole. Now, they're bringing in Al Horford. He could stretch the floor, allow Draymond, as he said in his media day press conference, to play his more natural 4 position because he's getting to that age where playing the 5 and being that physical, especially with some of the taller guys, isn't what he wants to do moving forward because it's just he would be a detriment to the team playing the 5 instead of helping the team move the ball around at the 4. And just with Al Horford at the 5, I like the stretching the floor part. But again, he's 39 years old. That's going to play very badly as the season goes on. He's going to have injury problems. He can't play more than 25 minutes a game if he hits 25. And on top of that, the only 7-footer that the Warriors have is still Quentin Post. Now, Quentin's had a good percentage from three. I believe it was at 40% last year. But he's still young. He's not built up enough, strong enough to really get physical with Gobert, with Joker, with DeAndre Ayton, with Anthony Davis, even the likes of Cat on the East Coast, Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren. He's not strong enough for those guys. So I want to see the Warriors at least address these holes as they go into training camp. There are roster moves that can be made to improve the team both in the short term and the long term. But until these moves are made, there's still going to be those glaring holes, and teams are going to take advantage of them come the regular season. We're going to see this play out during the preseason when they're getting destroyed in the middle. Hopefully I'm wrong, but you know what? I doubt it, because Horford and the likes of Post can't compete with some of those bigger guys. And without Looney to be that physical presence against those bigger guys, we're going to have problems. I don't care what anybody says, we're going to have issues. And I don't want to see those issues play out completely come the regular season. Now, that's all we have today for Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you enjoyed the show. And if you have any ideas for who the Warriors should acquire now that the roster is rounded out and they can move some players around to maybe get them further below the hard cap and the second apron, feel free to comment below, as I love hearing your ideas. And as always, go Dubs.